Welcome back. Well, Congressman Lee Zeldin's suspected attacker will have his detention hearing later today. Zeldin was attacked at a campaign event exactly 1 week ago. His attacker was originally arrested soon after the incident, but he was released without bail because of the cashless bail laws in New York within hours. He was then arrested again, this time on a federal assault charge. Joining me right now is the man himself, New York Congressman Lee Zeldin. He is a member of the Foreign Affairs and Financial Services Committee. He is running for governor of New York. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. We were all astounded to see what you went through and how you handled yourself. You were incredibly courageous. How are you doing, and can you tell us what happened?
Maria, it's great to be with you. Giving a campaign rally, I don't care whether you're right, left, I don't care what the level of office it is, anywhere in America, it should be an experience where people are able to come to the event, participate in the process, to be safe. There should be no violence. There should not be any need for anything that you witnessed there on the many videos that were taken of that incident. I'm doing okay. I'm grateful that the first call that my wife got came from my campaign manager to tell her what happened and that I was okay, as opposed to frantic texts that could have spooked my wife and my 15-year-old girls. Grateful for a whole bunch of people, 7, 8, 9, 10 people, who all quickly attacked this guy right away. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office was there right away to handle it. And just to make us appreciate law enforcement that much more, while the Monroe County Sheriff's Office was dealing with this incident, they got the call that 2 Rochester Police Department officers were shot. One of them ended up being killed. So our law enforcement has their hands full. I'm especially grateful for them.
Well, and you've talked all about this cashless bail situation that you want to reverse if you win in November to become the governor of New York. Congressman, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has responded to one of your tweets. He responded last night, and he writes this, quote, "You can't claim to want to keep New Yorkers safe while opposing common sense gun safety laws as you have throughout your entire career." So, Congressman, he's going right to the gun safety laws and turning this into policy and not really reacting to what happened to you. What do you want to say to Eric Adams right now about all of this?
Well, all the headlines that we're reading right now, like we saw the New York City attack on that officer, you have a Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, in that case, who refused to ask for bail. He also says that he's not going to prosecute fair jumping and a whole bunch of other crimes. So when that officer tries to stop that suspect for trying to fair jump, this kid thinks that he's entitled to it, who just a few days later committed the violent robbery. They get into a fight where he's using positions on the officer that the officer can't use back because they ban chokeholds. Meanwhile, in New York City, they've been attacking qualified immunity on law enforcement. So this officer and their colleagues have to be worried about getting sued all day for doing their job. And you've reached this point now where when that suspect gets in front of the judge, the suspect was asking the judge whether or not he could press charges against the officer. There are so many crimes that have nothing at all to do with guns. People are getting pushed in front of oncoming subway cars and dying, stabbed to death inside of their apartment in Lower Manhattan and elsewhere, beaten to death with hammers. There are anti-Semitic attacks, attacks on Sikh cab drivers. I could go through a laundry list of all sorts of really bad crime that has nothing to do with guns. As far as guns go, you can't treat law-abiding gun owners who want to safely and securely carry a firearm solely for self-defense in the same way as that criminal who's carrying an illegal firearm, committing crime after crime after crime, and because the system's not working, they're still on the streets committing more crimes. I get it. There's an election coming up November 8th, and the mayor probably got a phone call from the governor's office saying, hey, do you mind firing a shot across the bow of our Republican opponent? But I'm the one who's talking about securing our streets and making life in New York safe again. If you want to just talk about merit, he should be fully backing my call to repeal cashless bail, remove Alvin Bragg, and far more.
So these are your priorities then, should you become governor? How are you going to change all of this?
The first thing, my first day that I'm in office, and it's in the New York State Constitution, the governor of the state of New York has the authority, and I would argue the obligation, to remove a district attorney who refuses to enforce the law. And Alvin Bragg, across the board, since the first day he's been there, has refused to do his job. The first act will be notifying Alvin Bragg that he is being removed as the district attorney in Manhattan. We need to start securing our streets from day one, repealing cashless bail. There's stories out in New York because of a new law called the HALT Act, changing solitary confinement rules just this week alone. At one prison, Elmira Correctional Facility, they've had 6 of their correctional officers attacked. The HALT Act should be repealed. We see the headlines of cop killers and murderers and rapists being released from prison because of the parole board. Why not allow victims and victims' rights to be able to, and their families to be able to weigh in with regards to their opinion and consider that in making that decision? Enact a law enforcement bill of rights. The list goes on of so many different ways to secure our streets. Some I could do on my own as governor without the legislature. Part of it will require working with the legislature and working with allies maybe on the other side of the aisle if Mayor Adams, once the election's over, wants to actually work together to secure a street as opposed to trying to deliberately butt heads to win an election.
All right, we will leave it there. Congressman, it's great to see you. We're going to be watching your race closely, and we understand the issues that you are up against. Thank you so much.